You are welcome to Unit 3, Module 1 of BIO304. We are still in the study of ecosystems, and this unit we want to discuss the cycling of nutrients in ecosystems. By merely saying this, you already know what this thing is all about. This unit is all about, but I will just read through few parts and some basic definitions that you are most likely going to be asked in your exams. Then we close this so that I don't waste your time on things you already know. Okay, so that's the objectives here are a little bit much, but all of them are super simple. So what is nutrient cycle? Nutrient cycle is simply the cyclic motion, of chemicals, of nutrients, between or among the biological and chemical components of the environment. This process is termed biogeochemical cycle. Biogeochemical cycle. I hope you get my definition. If you don't get it, please play back and quickly jot that down. Alright? So that I don't waste your time. Now, this is the diagram for cycling within an ecosystems. You will see everything started from the sun, the energy source. So this is one of the basic steps. You remember what we learned in Unit 1, the basic steps of functioning of ecosystem. It starts with the energy source. Then producers will make use of this sun to produce food, and then eaten by the consumer. Then they will decompose. Decomposer will also work on them and turn them into a non-living nutrient, which will be taken up again by plant. This is how the whole cycle begins. So that's about that. Now the first cycle we are going to be talking about is water cycle. What is water cycle? Water cycle is simply the continuous movement from the atmosphere to the earth. Okay, the continuous movement of water, from the atmosphere to the earth, to the oceans, and back to the atmosphere again. You can see the diagram, and I'm sure many of you can draw the diagram of water cycle. So you may not be able to do the painting, but the cyclic movement of water, I'm sure you can do it. And if you cannot do it, please just message me, tell me to draw it for you. I will draw it and send it to you. That is why I am here for you. So that is that about that. Then let's talk about the carbon cycle. Carbon cycle is still the same thing, just the continuous movement of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, from the plants to the living organisms, then back to the atmosphere. Then the cycles continue. I'm sure you know that the plants, they make use of light energy and water. Light energy and water to make what? Okay, they make use of light energy, they make use of water, and then they make use of what's the other thing they make use of? I think it's three. It's three things they make use of. They make use of carbon dioxide as well. Okay, to produce what? They produce oxygen and energy. The oxygen they produce is what we use, for breathing. And then when we take in the oxygen, we will release back carbon dioxide for them to reuse. Okay, so that is how the movement takes place. So carbon cycle is simply the cyclic movement of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to the plant and then back to the atmosphere. So that's what I can say about that. Then the next one, okay, this is the carbon cycle. You can see the dissolved CO2 will be used by the phytoplankton, that is the green plant inside the sea. Okay, this green plant will be eaten up by the animal, which is the fish. Okay, and then the animals too will exhale CO2 back into the atmosphere. So within this space alone, you can see the work of carbon cycle there. So the next one is nitrogen cycle, and this one is a little bit interesting. Just pay attention to some basic definition they will be asking you to do. So nitrogen cycles involves the movement of nitrogen from the atmosphere, converting it to nitrite, then to nitrate, then to ammonium, back to nitrogen, and then the whole cycle continues. So that's that about the nitrogen cycle. They are not going to ask you to define it anyway, but just know some of these important points. Also, what is ammonification? Ammonification. Ammonification is the conversion of nitrogen to ammonium ion by the action of saprotrophic fungi and bacteria. I don't think I need to come again. Ammonification is the process of conversion of nitrogen to ammonium ion by the action of saprotrophic fungi and bacteria. Then what is nitrification? Nitrification is the process of converting ammonium ion to nitrate So the ammonium ion will be oxidized to nitrate. So that is the process of nitrification. That is how nitrate is being made. The point they are expecting from you there is what is being converted to nitrate, and we said it is ammonium ion. So you can see where it starts. It starts from ordinary nitrogen converted to ammonium ion through the process called ammonification. Then the next one is nitrification. That is, the so formed ammonium ion will be converted to nitrate, okay, by the actions of some bacteria called Nitrosomonas, Nitrosospira, and Nitrococcus. So these bacteria, you must make sure you know them. Okay, the first process is nitrite by Nitrosomonas and Nitrosolubus. You can just pick those two alone. You are not going to react more than two bacteria. Okay, now this nitrite will further be oxidized to nitrate through another bacteria called Nitrobacter. You can pick just one out of these three to know. Now the next one, after this the nitrogen has been so formed, now it has become nitrate. The next one is uptake of nitrogen by plant. How do plants take up this nitrogen? Okay, so most plants absorb the majority of their nitrogen as nitrate. Okay, so the nitrate so formed will be taken up by plant like that. Okay, then the next one is nitrogen fixation. After the plant has taken it up, how do they fix it back to the environment? How do they fix it back? So this thing gets fixed into the nitrogen is being fixed back into the environment. Okay, let me just define it as it is being written there without wasting your time. Nitrogen fixation is the reduction of atmospheric nitrogen to ammonium ion. So it has gone back to a starting point. You can see, so the nitrogen is now being fixed again as ammonium ion. And there are some animals, or there are some bacteria that help in fixing nitrogen. We have rhizobium that fix itself to the root of many leguminous plants. So that is that about that. Then the next one is denitrification. That is denitrification. How do you remove nitrate from how do you remove it? That's why it is called denitrification. So denitrification contains proportion of the fixed nitrogen in the soil is steadily lost. So it's how denitrification is simply how certain proportion of the fixed nitrogen in the soil is steadily lost under anaerobic condition. Under anaerobic conditions. So that is denitrification. So that's about the nitrogen cycle. Okay, now the phosphorus cycle, the only thing they will ask you, maybe your TMA, is to what makes the phosphorus cycle different. And it is different because it lacks atmospheric component. Everything about phosphorus cycle stays in the soil. Their major reservoirs are rock. So that's the only thing that is special about phosphorus cycle that I want to discuss with you today. Now, how do all of these nutrients interact with each other? The interactions between the nutrient cycles All of these things are interconnected. For instance, the burning of fossil fuel, for example, not only put large amount of carbon into the atmosphere, it also increase the amount of atmospheric nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. So you can see how both of them are interwoven in terms of activities and their impacts too. So let's discuss the assessment exercise. What is nitrogen fixation? Explain the role played by some species of bacteria and leguminous plants in nitrogen fixation. They are talking of the bacteria called rhizobium. What do they do? They help fix the nitrogen to the plant root. Okay, explain how the phosphorus cycle differs from other cycle. How do it differ? I just told you now that they do not have atmospheric component. So that's that about that. Let's see the stomach assignment. I'm sure it must have been all touched. Look at it. Everything has been well explained before now. Now, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Thank you so much, and God bless you.